Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to add design elements to the page that you're coloring. There are several reasons that I've done this, either because I want to add my own designs or because I've seen something on the page that just kind of bothers my eye and I want to fix it. The book I'm using today is Selena Finish Mermaids, as you can see. And let me go get to the page that I'm going to be working on. Here we go. This will be the one. It's the mermaid in a bathtub. And there were the two reasons why I changed this is, number one, I wanted to make her fin tail transparent or translucent, whatever word you want to use. So I did it there and I did it there. You can see through it. And number two, as you'll see on the original, when I show it to you in a minute, there is a little problem with the drawing that I thought could be fixed. And also on the tub, I added a lot of these flowers. I also added the floor design, the wood floor design, and I added this candle and some wax around the bottom of it. I was just playing on that, so it was fun. All right, so here's the original. And as you can see, the fin tail looks like it is solid because you can't see anything through it. So the question is, how do you fix that? And how do you make it look transparent? It was ridiculously simple and straightforward. That's why I'm saying you can do this. You can use gel pen, you can use the pigment liners. I happen to be using the Staedtler pigment liners, the different sizes, but if you don't have that, fine. Use a Pilot black thin line gel pen. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my triangle here. Now watch, you're not going to believe this. Watch this. One line. And line number two. Look at that. The second that I did that, that made that tail look transparent. It was that easy. Now, a couple of little other elements that we have to take into account in doing this is the wallpaper that's behind the tail. And the way that I did that, let me slide this down a little bit so you can see it, is if you compare the two, you can see how these design elements from the wallpaper are looking like they're coming through. All right, straightforward to draw, not complex. I am not an artist, I'm not an illustrator, trust me. So this was awkward for me, but once I realized how straightforward it was, I thought, hey, I can do this and then I can show other people how to do it. So let's talk about this area right in here where I've got these little circles. Your eye should tell you that these circles need to be completed. So here we go. All right, there we go. All of a sudden you can see the design through this. All right. Then what I did, let me make sure that both are in view here. Yep. Then what I did is here's the outside of the design, same one I'm working on. I simply continued this line down to the baseboard. And then there's two little tiny dots here. Hopefully you can see them. And that looked like to me that was part of the design element. So follow what I did. I just went down with this, up to the first part of the V. Then I went back down up to that side of the V, okay? And then I went back down again and up to that section there. Voila. See it? Now, you don't have to do all this if you don't want to, but it just seemed like it kind of followed the pattern of the rest of the paper that's on here. So I thought, yep, I'm going to do this. All right, now I'm over here, and it looks like to me that the wallpaper is going to come down like kind of in a V. So I've started this line here. I come down, and I come back up. There we go. See? And then I've got this next little piece here, which looks to me like it's going to arc around and come down here. So let me do the inside of the circle. Whoops, went off a little bit, but that's fine. I'll fix that later. And there. So I just followed that around. I will fix that, but see how now that follows around here. And then on this side of it, it looks to me like this part here comes around and goes to the bottom here. So I'm just going to follow that around there. And let's see. Then it looks to me like this comes to the bottom of that little spiky thing, and that comes there. And again, you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You can draw any pattern. Nothing is wrong because, nobody can see it. Okay. So now I'm over to the left a little bit. Let me turn my camera. I'm over in this section right here, and let's see what I think I've got. You've got a bottom part here. It goes down, up, down. I'm just going to make that come up like that. And I've got a portion here. It goes around. I think it goes up and comes back down. And let's see. I think we got a little bit of a tail on this little guy that's right there. All right. So if you look at that whole thing now, it looks like you can see through that tail simply because I drew a few lines in the background to make it look like it is all the way through. Let me pull out so you can see. Voila. How does that look? Doesn't that look neat? It took a whole 2 minutes maybe, if that, and I went a little slower because I was illustrating the point for you. All right. So that's done. I'll show you how to color that later. Now I'm going to show you something that I'm adding with the hair. Let me turn my book. Okay. So if you look at the hair, let me zoom in a little bit for you. In the original drawing, and I don't know why the artist did this, but she did, that head to me looks flat, and that just bothered me. Now, if it doesn't bother you, that's cool, that's fine, leave it. But to me, I wanted to change it, plus I wanted to do a little bit extra with the hair, which I'll show you, which I thought was kind of cool. So, all I'm going to do here is take my pen, and I'm just going to start adding the hair on the top to round off where the artist initially flattened it. Again, I am not an artist. I'm just doing this by eyeball. See? Boom. Done. And now what I'm going to do, because this is going to be a little bit of an add-on, Let me show you the one I colored and the one I'm drawing now so you can see the difference between the two. Now what I'm going to do, so I'm going to cover the original up a minute so you can see this. Now what I'm going to do on her hair, because I decided that I wanted to take it a little bit further, is I'm going to add some lines of hair on the lines that were already there. I think it looks better. Now, that's just personal preference. If you like what the artist has done initially, leave it alone. But I wanted to go ahead and add this. I'm just adding to what is already there. See how that's looking now? Look at the difference between the top here where I've added hair and the bottom. Be careful when you're adding though. See that little black blob in there? That's what happens sometimes when you draw one line on top of another. That was my mistake because I was yakking at you. But you want to be very careful about starting and finishing in the middle. But I'll leave that closed up and zoom so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so now I'm going to come here and come around. I'm going to add a little more there. Going to add there. Now, see how I'm even adding down over the bathtub a little bit. I promise you, once you get going on this, you'll start playing with it. So be careful. And let's see. Now, I want to be careful about adding more hair here because I've got to come over the bathtub line. But here I don't have anything. I've got white space. So I can go ahead and add more hair length. Curl it around a little bit. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, that's fine. Don't. Just stick with adding your lines in the middle of the hair. And you don't want to get going too much. Look how neat that looks. And the top, now that I've fixed it, looks a lot better because I basically obliterated that flat spot. And there you go. Look how cool that looks. Let's see. If I wanted to add a little more hair here so it's coming down the shoulder, I can. There you go. Okay, so that's two simple additions now that I have made to this page. I made the addition of the hair. I made the addition of basically two lines through the tail and then put in my lines to kind of emulate the pattern that was right there. And again, trust me, I have no drawing ability really. This is just really basic stuff, but I think it looks terrific and I think it looks great enough. That's why I'm making this video, to show you that you can do the same thing. All right. So now I'm going to take that away a minute because in my next video, which will be coming up sometime, I will be adding or showing you how I added this greenery on the tub. Here's the original. You can see that the greenery, that the flowers come part way up, but when I added it, it comes higher almost to the rim. Okay? And I also added a candle right here. Let me slide the book up. I added this candle. It was simple to draw. See? There's the difference, and I even added more wax, which basically was all about drawing a lopsided circle, so no biggie. That was fun to do. You can see the differences there. And I added the wood floor. So I will show you how I did that. That really was just all about taking my triangle, drawing parallel lines, and then drawing in light little lines for a wood pattern. If you've drawn wood pattern before, you know it's easy to do. If you haven't drawn it ever, I will show you how to do that. So again, here's the before. There's the after. Before, after. All right, guys, this is ILene Vick for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. And I will be putting up my next video. This one's going to be about 15 minutes long. I will show you how to draw in the flowers, the candle, and the floor, and then we'll get on to the coloring. Now, don't just think that this is for the Selena Finish book. These ideas, carry them over to other books that you're doing where you want to add a design or are thinking about adding a design. Because if you get it done here and get the courage to do it here, I think you're going to find out that it's tons of fun to do it in some of your other books. I've done it in my Johanna Basford books and my Millie Marotta books. All right, ILene Vick for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Thank you so much for your time. Happy coloring, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget that I also have Periscope broadcasts. That's an app you can get for your phone. Just look for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Thanks a lot, and happy coloring.